We have a lost binder. If anyone couldn't find their binder last week, and that's your handwriting.
Is that your handwriting? It
Yep.
is.
Yeah.
Did you get mine by accident? You don't have one. Okay.
That's what I thought. Is maybe somebody.
Nice.
Also, Geshe Michael's coming to town on Sunday. The first teaching is going to be at 3 p.m. at the Asher Levy School on 185 First Avenue at 11th Street. It's on Klakson, The Joy of Responsibility. Everyone should go. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be amazing. And then Hector has this extra special thing to tell us about why everyone in this class should go to that. And then also, 1st through the 3rd, starting at 7 o'clock at night on the 1st, and then starting at 8 o'clock on the 2nd and 3rd, Geshe Michael is teaching Yoga as a Road to Love, where we're going to learn about the yogic concepts of the inner winds and your subtle body to specifically achieve the state of a more compassionate person. You can use yoga and the movement of the subtle winds to do all kinds of things, but he has never talked about specifically how you could have a realization of bodhicitta using yoga asana, which is pretty exciting. And also on Saturday, there's a big fundraiser at Panda on the Lower East Side. It's going to be a huge, amazing dance party. Peter has been working really hard on a killer European house techno set list mixed and mashed up with some other cool stuff, and it's going to be really beautiful, and it's for an incredible cause. So however you like to spend your evening, it would be a really, really, really amazing thing for you to come.
What time?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Till 4 a.m.
Come between 9 and 12 if you can.
This Saturday?
This Saturday.
Thank you, Michael. Anyone else have any other announcements?
If you like to bake or you like to buy baked goods, we usually do a bake sale. No way, it's too close. We usually do a bake sale. We did one last year for the fighter pilot and the monk, and it was really successful. It encourages everybody to, donate, buy, and for us to put love into food and bring it. We need 2 volunteers to come help sort of set up that table at 2:30. If anyone's interested in coming half an hour early to help set up the bake sale.
For Sunday.
This is for Sunday.
This Sunday.
I'm there at 1 setting up all the tables.
So can we get 2 volunteers to help set up the bake sale? What's the purpose of the bake sale?
I just received the
To
info.
feed the people at Saramay Monastery, I believe.
I don't have the direct
Lineage
in
of
my I don't have
I
the
believe
where the money is going
the
to go.
proceeds from any money raised will go to feed or contribute to Saramay Monastery, which is actually the place where you're getting this information from. If Saramay wasn't there, there would be no way that Pabongka Rinpoche, Trijang Rinpoche, Khenso Rinpoche, Geshe Michael Rinpoche would have ever been able to internalize these things and then explain them and pass them on to each other in this magnificent lineage that goes all the way back to the Buddha, for you to get whatever you're getting. If you are getting any kind of intellectual understanding, physical sensation about it is possible to become better, to change the way things are. If you're getting any of that, it doesn't come from anywhere else except your own karma. The seeds of it, the Nirlengi cure, the principal course of it is this beings in Saramay Monastery. So please help. That would be an awesome thing. The other thing I've got to say to you is, talking about this lineage, there's 2 traditions in Tibetan Buddhist thought. One is pass down the knowledge from the books, student to teacher. And we're fortunate to have record of the teachings that are in your binders that go all the way back to the Buddha. But imagine, followed or in tandem with that, the voice and the realizations from the Buddha going to his students, and those students, not only passing on the knowledge in words that are texts, but realizations like we're doing today. So you actually hear it passed down from lip to lip. We've got the opportunity this Sunday to actually get, that's called the lung, when you hear a specific teaching through your ear from the lips of your teacher, that heard it from the lips of their teacher, that heard it from the lips of their teacher as they're doing the book stuff. That's called the lung, or the wind. We asked Geshe Michael Roach if he would be kind enough to give us the lung, in other words what he heard from Ken Rinpoche on these 14 verses, who heard it for Trijang Rinpoche, who heard it from Pabongka Rinpoche, all the way back. And he said yes, that he would stay a little bit of time after the event at the school, and that he would, whoever in this class would like to receive the lung, and it's a special thing that happens in your mind when you hear those words, if you've got the seeds for it. And he'd be happy to do that transmission to us. So we've organised to cordon off a section, because it's a special, we're now special creatures if we go and get the lung. We're going to get a cordoned off section of auditorium where he's doing the teaching, and all the while we'll be sitting there getting ready to receive that lung. And then after that he'll just recite the 14 verses, and as he's doing that, something happens in your consciousness, in your stream of consciousness, that glues you to your previous teacher and the teacher's teacher and all the way back to the Buddha. It's a very unique and special opportunity. So if you would like that, you need to let me know before the end of class, so we could cordon off just enough seats. Yeah, it is a unique and rare thing, and I highly encourage you, even if you're a little bit weirded out because it's your first class, there's a reason why you're in this class tonight. Yeah, if everything has a cause, you either believe that everything has a cause, or you either believe that things are random. Because either things are caused, something produces something, or nothing produces nothing. And I think in the West we tend to think things have a cause. Something caused you to have this opportunity, for whatever it means and whatever you're feeling about it. I highly encourage you to come. Even if, and you won't make sense of it until later anyway, you know? Like, it won't make any sense until later. But that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. For those of you who would like to come, I'd like to get 1 or 2 volunteers to go there early enough to reserve the seats once we know who. So if you would like to come to the lung, please, or stay after class, please give your name to, yeah, to a sheet. Beautiful.
Where is this and what time?
Thank you, yes. Yes.
Yes.
It is at the school. Where's the school?
Asher Levy School.
On First Avenue between 10th and 11th Street.
Just around the corner.
Yeah, we spent 11th
11th and 12th Street on
First
First Ave.
It's
Yeah?
huge, you can't miss it.
Asher Levy's school.
Yeah. And this the brochure is outside, so you can get it. Yep.
That has the wrong address on it.
Oh, that has the wrong address on
It has
it?
3 jewels on it.
Yeah. So So that's a really awesome opportunity. So let's have a quick look. I think there was one more thing I had to do. For those of you who have not met Geshe Michael Roach, if you really want to figure out whether or not you can become enlightened, you know, I'm just teaching you what this guy taught me. Yeah. And over the years of studying with Geshe Michael Roach, he stopped being a guy for a while and became this incredible possibility of a being who actually got to see how the world really is, and then could teach it. If you believe at all that it is possible to get out of suffering, I don't know anyone else on the planet that can teach you it but him. That's my bad karma. I wish I could see more people that way. Yep, but at the moment, it is Holy Geshe Michael Roach. And that weirded me out when I first met all the Buddhist stuff, so I apologize if it weirds you out. I think that's it. So we need people to go and cordon off, and that's Birdie. Thank you very much. You report at 2:30 to Alison over there. Actually, not Alison. Whoever's over there, she'll be here.
Thank you for making it.
I'll be there.
No. That's the other thing. If you are coming, there's a couple of things you should think about. Your motivation. Why? Yeah? And really practice being a good student, meaning be open-minded. You're about to experience nothing else but the ripening of your own mental continuum in the presence of something special, if you experience it that way. Apply the level of intelligence you have from understanding that things don't come from out there, but they come from your karmic seeds. Whatever level of understanding you have about that, that will really help you. And then just keep tight that motivation while you're listening to whatever Geshe Michael is going to teach, and then get ready to receive this pure lineage that comes all the way back from the Buddha and could be in your heart that night, on Sunday night.
I'll just if you need people to bake, should we start a sheet going around with people who...
Yeah, you can just come talk to me after class. Yeah.
So bake to Jamie, is that your name?
Yeah, I hope you know my name.
Yeah. And a sheet of paper for Lung. Who needs to know more about past or future lives proof? We've got 15 minutes and I want to cover 3 things. Okay, yeah. It's hard and it's simple, okay? It took a while, it took months for me to actually get it. We come from a world, a Western world, that has this prejudice that we think we know what the world operates and we're the ultimate, we know all the knowledge in the world, we're the best. We're number one, we're America, hooray. Yeah? And everything we know as truth because we have science as our religion. That's truth. Yeah? But, and that does not mean that there isn't truth in science. That's not what it means either. Okay? But it's very simple. We say in the material world that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Everything is caused. Physical matter just changes, does never get destroyed. It just changes form. Energy changes form. So the body that is you at the moment, the atoms in your body, is made up of the atoms that were in somebody else's body. As you eat the carcass of a chicken, you're getting those atoms in your body producing the stuff that's your body. Those atoms and molecules change into who you are. Your spine, I think, the actual physical spine, something like 18 months, you get a brand new, at an atomic level, you get brand new spine, brand new liver, brand new. Physically, you are not the same person that you were 2 years ago. At an atomic level, as you breathe, as you poo, as you wee, you're letting out a whole bunch of atoms. Your hair and your scalp is letting off skin and the rest. You're getting rid of atomic matter and you're building atomic matter. It's all shared. I think someone did a statistical study that there's probably an atom of Christ somewhere in your body. Statistically speaking, you probably can have, the body of Christ physically at an atomic level. In somebody's body in here, there's probably the likelihood that you've got, and Hitler, and the rest, right? Don't want to know what that looks like. Well, I know what I'm doing the Hitler thing today. Sorry, but we believe that, the tree that falls over turns into dust, and the worms eat it, and those trees. And the worms make little poo, and that little poo makes other trees, and then the tomato that comes out of that tree we eat, and it's inside you. So you're a tree. Yeah? So we believe that for physical matter. Yeah? So physical matter produces physical matter. And Buddhists say, yep, that's true, that's the same. Physical matter produces physical matter. No problem. But they also say that for the mind, which is not physical matter, must also have a cause. You can't say that everything has a cause except your mind. They say that's retarded. Yeah? Seriously. To not think it. Well, they don't really say it, and I can't quite quote the scripture. Yeah? I think I just made that up. Apologize. You get the point. The point is, you can't say that everything is caused except this experience that you're having. And then you have to, and Tibetans are analytical about this to the nth degree, where they say you can't have a physical thing produce a non-physical thing. And you can't have a non-physical thing produce a physical thing. And then they go into this whole debate about where did your mind come from. So I'm going to just follow me on a journey. Consider the state of your mind right now, the ideas that are floating in your mind right now. And now take your mind back to an hour and a half when you were downstairs before opening the door. Then the state of your mind back then. Now think of the mind that you had early in the morning and the state of your mind back then. And you can see that if you follow this very moment to the previous moment to the previous moment, not physically where you were in the world, but mentally where you were in the world, one causes the other, causes the other. Yeah? If you wake up with a shitty mood, to put it simply, your whole day seems to be imbued, pushed shitty to the next shitty moment. Yeah? So with that basic understanding, I'll just skim through it because we've got 10 minutes. If we believe that the physical body from what we ate last week produced this physical body, and what we ate last year produced this year's body, it's the same of consciousness. Now consciousness you can't smash, you can't cut, you can put an atomic bomb next to your mind and it can't do anything to your mind. It will do something to your brain and your body, but it won't do anything to consciousness. So they say body is produced by body, like physical stuff produces physical stuff. Non-physical stuff, like mind, produces non-physical stuff. And at the basis of it, the current moment of mind, of consciousness that you have, will push you into the next moment of mind, imbued and colored by the stuff that we have. And to a degree, we Americans believe that. Because we send kids to school hoping that whatever they learn in year 1 will retain and influence them to learn whatever they learn in year 2. Otherwise we wouldn't send them to year 1, we'd just send them to year 2. Right? If we didn't believe there was some retention about numbers and letters and things that shape up words and sums and the rest. Does that make sense? Nodding. Good. That means to some degree we believe that mind influences mind, that the current state of mind produces the next state of mind. And then you go. Was that a question or an itchy armpit?
No, I do have a question.
Okay.
Please.
Can I go? Okay. So that begs the question, if mind produces mind, and this is a big if, we're not going to believe it. Yeah, we believe the first one, by the way. We believe that physical matter because they taught us that at school, and because they taught us that at school, we think it's true. Because unless you're extremely clever, you wouldn't have analysed that all on your own. By the way, yeah, you wouldn't have sat there in a natural life without any kind of education and gone, physical matter is produced by physical matter, and you just wouldn't have figured it out. Yeah, unless you're extra special, I wouldn't have. And the suspicion we have around the mind stuff is because nobody taught us that, and so we go, I don't know that, so it's not true. So that's partly. The assumption is that the state of mind that my mind is in now, with that assumption, was produced by a previous moment. You could take it back to last year. So the Hector's mind from last year and all the things that I had floating in my head influenced and created the state of mind that I've got now, the mind that I've got now. You could say that the 10-year-old you produced the 11-year-old you, which meant that the 9-year-old you produced the 10-year-old you, mentally speaking. And you can take that back until you were born. But then we know that babies, fetuses in the womb, have minds, they have consciousness, they have awareness, even if it's warm and cold, and we know because they kick and they move in there. They have a consciousness, they are aware. Because when you play certain music, they move in a certain way, when the mother does certain actions, they respond. So there's an awareness of being at that point. And you take that back to the very first awareness that creature in the womb might have. Imagine that moment. If the previous moment, if the post moment was produced by that first moment in the womb, you must necessarily say, where did that previous moment that instigated the first moment come from? If it's true that last year's mind produced this year's mind all the way back down to when you were 1, And then when you were 9 months old and 6 months old and 4 months old and 2 months old and 1 minute old, and each state of mind was produced by the previous state of mind, and they're not connected with body. Mind produces mind, body produces body, physical, physical, non-physical, non-physical. Does that make sense? With that logic, there must necessarily have been a prior moment of mind before it was in that creature. That mind continuum is infinite. There's no beginning. Infinite isn't a long time. Infinite has nothing to do with time. Infinite is infinite. It's timeless. It's not about long time. It's infinite.
Buddhists don't believe in Big Bang.
Well, no, they don't. They think Big Bang is a silly idea. You can't have nothing come from, you can't have something that comes from nothing. I think the Big Bang is a silly idea.
Where is infinite then? How's that understood?
Infinite is, can I not cover infinite? Because we might take a long time. That was a joke. Finally, I did a good joke today. Are you following on that idea? You just need to grab it. You don't have to believe it, by the way. You shouldn't believe it. You should break it, yeah? But play with that idea.
I'll just say, I think sometimes it's hard for people when you say like past and future lives, but then at the same time, there are so many ways that you're already comfortable with the idea that you've just never parsed it together. And I just think of like little children that are like piano virtuosos, right? Or, you know, like they're 3 or they're 4 and they can just hear music, they can just play. Or like someone like Mozart. And everyone is like comfortable with the idea that there are these people,
Yeah,
right?
it's something close that.
have
Yeah,
this
it's true.
exceptional quality, and you find
Yeah.
it in everything. So I think that is a way to make it more less
Perfect.
mystical.
Yeah, true. And we do. We see people that have incredible gifts, and we don't question where they came from. Yeah, we say something. So that sort of covers about future lives. You know, this idea that we could have a future life. That covers that. And then, are you asking a question, or you got an itchy armpit?
No, there's a question.
Yeah.
Isn't just the conception of mind creating mind another conception in and of itself, just as science as a theory? And how do you? I mean, I'm obviously
Nice. Yeah.
challenging this because I don't necessarily wholeheartedly believe in science, but I also don't believe in afterlife.
I'm not saying science wrong, by the way. Yeah.
And I'm not saying afterlife is wrong. I just, in saying, in saying that mind produces mind, or where did mind come from? Therefore, there is this afterlife, that itself is a belief, which is just a conception of your consciousness.
So what happens to your consciousness when your body stops? What happens to this this thing that identifies?
I'm saying you can only speculate as to what happens.
Absolutely. I'm not asking you to believe. Yeah. In fact, I'm asking you not to believe. You must speculate. If you believe, either you've got some extraordinary capacity that I don't know about, or it's too easy. You know, like you must believe the next bastard that sits here and says blah blah. Yeah. So yes, and yes.
I just want to mention there is actually a Western book that scientifically proves reincarnation as well. If anybody's interested, in it.
Scientifically, nice. I'm interested. I'm going to very quickly ask you to please spend 10 minutes looking at your readings this week if you don't look at your readings. But what we talked about then talks about the idea that there might be a continuum of consciousness beyond this life if there was one before. And that the mind is indeed a stream, this idea of the stream of mind. We believe it for school, we believe it for this time, we speculate about past and present, past and future. I'm happy with that. Now we talk about the content of your mind. Why would you perceive certain things in a certain way? So I'm going to just dump on you in 2 minutes the 4 laws of karma, which is over there, right? And so please write this down, because this will make a difference. This will make a difference to the way the next classes appear to you. If this is just a different way of understanding the world. Yeah, we come with our own Western prejudice. We think we know the answer. Science is our religion. Yeah, this is a different way of looking. And this, applied with the 3 paths, will get you insights into your reality that you can answer yourself. You don't have to get somebody else or rely on somebody else to say, I believe in that. That shouldn't happen. Yeah? So the first principle is that karma is definite. What this means is that good produces good, bad produces bad. And I don't mean bad and good in terms of someone's judging you up above and going, that's a good boy, that's a bad boy. The whole idea that a positive imprint or a negative imprint in your mind, depending on your intention and your action, will necessarily produce that response in your mind. The next thing, I'm going to quickly go through them, I'm so sorry. And we can cover them again next class. That karma increases and gets bigger and bigger. What this means is, seeds, a watermelon seed which is tiny, makes a really big watermelon. That's what it means. It means that the karma, the thing planted, the intention and action that you perceive and record yourself doing through that pati that is your mind, yet if left unattended, when left unattended, grows and twists unto itself and continues to have a life of its own. All of them, 65 a millisecond, continue to have a life of the same flavor with which you planted them. Yeah? And that's why you can have a horrible result out of a good thing, or a good result out of a bad thing, apparently. What I mean by that is, if karma is definite and you get exactly the same result as what you planted, so would you agree that telling the truth is a goodness, a positive? Yeah? That being open and honest with somebody is a goodness, right? That deceiving and lying and cheating to them is probably a closed-up negativeness. Yes? Yeah? So imagine a moment where you screwed up at work and you've got the opportunity to be in front of your boss and say, if you say something that sort of lies to them, you know they won't yell at you, right? You know that they'll assume it was somebody else's mistake. If you just twist the truth a little bit and you're in front of them and you know that you screwed up. But if you say, well, I think it was the computer something, yeah? And by saying that, the responsibility is not on you, you just lied, yeah? And you've received a good result. They go, oh, you're so good, you know so much about computers. Right? So you just got praised, a good thing, after having done a really shitty thing. Yeah? So your imprint was negative. Your immediate result was positive. Yeah? They have nothing to do with each other. Yeah? Zero to do with each other, because you can't have a good thing coming out of a bad thing. Plus there's this time delay issue. Right? Or the opposite. You've got your beautiful partner, your fiance or something, and you know that you have to tell them the truth about something you forgot to tell them about your ex. And they start yelling at you violently. But you just did a goodness. You just did a really good thing. You just tell them something honestly and openly and deeply because you love them. And they started yelling at you and sometimes punching you. Yeah? Saying that didn't come from that. And the way you know that is because sometimes you lied to the boss and they thought you were an asshole and they told you about it. And sometimes you lied to your partner and they also yelled at you. And sometimes you told the truth and they yelled at you. The yelling doesn't come from the lie, the yelling doesn't come from the truth. They're completely separate things. The moment now did not produce that thing later in that immediate sense that we think it does. Yeah? If it did, we would all be utterly moral as I slashed Sam with a knife, my arm would start breaking open. I wouldn't slash him. Yeah, with cause and effect. So the second law of karma is it increases. The longer it sits there, it grows bigger. So the bad intention gets worse and worse and worse until it starts coloring and imbuing your mind. The third law of karma is that if you don't do the karma, you will never get the result. You can't possibly have a result of something you didn't plant. That's what that means. So the implication is if you're having a beautiful experience in your world today and you think you're such a bad person, wrong. You know, you must have done some goodness to experience a goodness. And the opposite is also true. What's the next law of karma? Sorry? Once it's planted, you have to have the result. Yeah? Once it's planted, you have to have the result. So you can't... for example, the three principal paths are said to produce utter enlightenment if they're internalized in the correct way. If you internalize these three lums, you could become a Buddha. That's what it says. And a Buddha is somebody that has no suffering at all. If that's true, applying the law of karma says you must plant the seeds, you must have the lums to produce that outcome. If you don't plant the lums, the steps, you can't get the results. Having a heart feeling of bodhicitta to somebody must produce. And this is what I thought was extremely selfishly beautiful about bodhicitta, by the way. So imagine if good causes good, yeah, and I love you and I love you lots and I care for you and I'm going to have, if karma grows, a bit more love from a few more people, right? How awesome. But what if you had love for absolutely everybody? If you could really get your mind to genuinely and deeply feel that absolutely every living creature on the planet, you wished bliss upon them. What would the result of that be if it grew exponentially? You'd eliminate all suffering from your experience of the world, utterly and totally. Infinitely multiplied. Yep. Yes. 4 was. 4 was. If planted, you must have the result. Yeah. No. 3 was. If you didn't plant it, you can't have the result. The opposites of the same. So number 4 is like extremely liberating and extremely horrible as well. It's both, because if you do something, you must get the results. Think about your last 10 minutes. How many selfish thoughts you had versus virtuous thoughts towards others. Because you're going to get the result. And it's not like you can put it on pause and say, I'm not going to think of those things and I'm not going to act those things. Whatever is on your mind, whatever quality, is what you'll experience. Yes?
I have a question about parasitic kind of cleanses, because
Parasitic cleanses.
because you're killing all of these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there's karma for that, right? Or anytime you take an antibiotic or anything like that.
Yeah. Beautiful question. And walking on grass. And eating any vegetables. Harvesting any vegetables. Think about that. No, but it's a good point. Think about it. Think about it. The subtleties of the harm we do on the planet are also karmas. Yeah. So when Buddha went, how many people are coming back as humans? Not coming back as in stuffed into a body and then you're a human, right? That's not what this means, the reincarnation. You should have come to the Wheel of Life class and we could have talked about stuffing bodies into, or studying mind streams into bodies, yeah? It's not what it means, that you, the person who you are, become somebody else. Not at all. In fact, the person that you are, the energies in that, like the virtuoso piano player, was a gift or a curse from the mind stream that planted all those seeds before you popped into that womb. There isn't the identity of you, right? Does that make sense? So you are now creating a life and a gift or a curse for the next bastard who's going to pop up with some wound in everything you do. So how much pornography is the next person going to see? How much love are they going to feel? You know, if you're really projecting forward an experience for the next being, that's a different way to look at it. I got to leave you because I don't want to go too late. Because we want to eliminate desire for any kind of future life, even if you believe in future lives like Easterners do, or this idea of future life like, oh, I wish I go to heaven or something like that. Yeah? But I'll do some goodness. So here are 6 problems with this life. Boom, boom. Problem number 6. Drogme Pe Nyepa, I won't go through them in Tibetan, is you go through life alone and you die alone. There's no amount of hand-holding when you pass that can keep you here. Doesn't matter how much you love each other. No mother can keep you, no lover can be with you. That passage is yours alone. And in fact, the majority of your inner experiences, if not all, are just yours. We have these silly and beautiful moments when we connect with people and we think we're thinking the same thing. And it's beautiful. No, it's magnificent. That's a karma too. That experience is lovely. But you're alone. You're perceiving that on your own. So that's 6. Number 5 is a life's a roller coaster. It means highs and lows. There's always highs and then goes lows. I'm going backwards on that one. Sorry. Because I thought I'd do what's the guy that has the top 10? I'm doing the David Letterman. Number 4 is you must be born over and over again. What that means in a more subtle level is not that you're going to have another body, you're going to live it, and, it means that, but it just means that your consciousness is forced to have these kind of experiences over and over again. These karmic experiences of the 5 heaps we talked about last week. Number 3 is that you must die and discard yet another body. So, number 3 and 4 are sort of similar. And if you think about that, just try for a second to enter an Eastern worldview that believes in literal past lives. And if it's true that the mind that is contained in your body now was produced by the imprints of a previous being that might have had a life like yours, right? And they had to discard that mind, and that mind is infinite. Think of the piles of bodies that your mind must have gone through to get to yours that would cover the planet. Piles upon piles of bodies discarded for your mind continuum to have the imprints it's experiencing now. That's that one. Another beautiful problem with this world, this life, is that you're never satisfied. The moose turns into vomit. That's number 2. You're never satisfied. Doesn't matter how much you get, what you think you want. You either want... I'll tell you 12 years ago I was here illegally, and now I'm legal. 12 years or more actually. 97 I left here. End of 97, beginning of 98. Illegal. For 10 years trying to think about how I'm getting back in here. Huh? Who said that? For a long time I tried to get back here illegally, and then I finally last year, people that know me, lots of trouble trying to get green card and the rest, lots of trouble. Last minute nearly didn't get it, got it, nearly didn't get it, and then in January came the green card. All this energy in my life spent on getting that. I swear to you, I looked at it and within a millisecond I'm like, do I really want it? I swear to you. I'm like, what's... Because I had it. Because I had it. That's a horrible problem in this life. You want the boyfriend, you want the girlfriend, you want the food, who's got a 1985 suit? That's probably, I'm the only one, probably. Whatever nice clothes you had from you, whatever nice clothes, whatever nice thing you got before, you're not so excited about it anymore. And the first one is that there is no certainty. You just can never be certain. You're never sure. And when we talk about locking up your house for those 30 days when Mr. Death comes, you're just never sure when. I mean, you all have stories, so I've heard of stories. And if it's close and you see it next to you, then you see these things very clearly. So whether or not you're excited about getting your beautiful future life where you can become enlightened, or you're going to go to heaven or the rest, it's just a shitty life. And it doesn't have to be that way, and it is possible to transform it now in this life if you can see through the fabric of what makes this life shitty. If you could see the wall for what is really there, that would help you understand how to turn this shitty life into a non-shitty life. You don't have to go anywhere to do that. That's what this is saying. That's what this is saying. And I hope you could find a way to make it practicable for you. With that, I apologize that it's 15 minutes late. We're going to dedicate any goodness. Please, if you've got any goodness in your heart, any possibility to turn things to bliss, wish it upon every single creature that is crawling the planet right now, unaware that all the things they're searching for will turn to crap. Please find that motivation in you and touch all the people who won't ever get a chance to think that it's possible to turn bad into good. Sam?
Saji
Kukir Jeshin Etoksham Renunciation embodies Sangha Shindu Mitevargi Roku Namda Shinra Tripasho Hiram Guru Ratnamandala Kamniyatayami
Kewa
Yoku Sunam Yeshe Tsoksokshin Sunam Yeshe Junwe Dampa Kunito Parsho. And just recall that being atop your head and shrink them down to the size of a pea filled with light, entering the top of your head as they make their way down to the level of your heart, just in front of your spine. Feel the sense of wisdom and compassion in their being, filling the inside of you, because the way you see it is the way you are. Thanks for letting me go over. Don't forget, if you want the lung from Geshe Michael Roach, please put your name down on the sheet of paper so we could know how many seats to reserve. Yeah. Thanks for coming. Thanks.
Thank you.